Hey folks, Americana Press here. This is an analysis video on the shooting that happened at the Coast Guard Alameda checkpoint. We call it what it is. It's a checkpoint to stop people from coming in and going. This is not authorized to be in there, right? The guy used a U-Haul to back up to the lines. Everybody saw the video. If you haven't, this is what happened. Pulls up, turns around, kind of backs up, and then he drives backwards at the line of officers holding that line. I don't know if they're officers or if they're enlisted personnel. I don't know who they are. Having done traffic control checkpoints and border security and things like that, I can tell you, you have rules of engagement. They very clearly said stop, stop, turn around, stop, stop. Then they got out of the way and they opened fire on the vehicle, hitting the driver. And I can't say they're an innocent bystander, but a bystander. I don't know if they're innocent or guilty, right? What that was, this is the analysis, is that something that happens a lot in other places where the U.S. is at. You have a traffic control checkpoint set up or a gate, and you tell people stop, like embassies or whatnot. You tell people to stop. You show, you tell them to stop, you shout. So shout, show, and then you go lethal, right? And they went to lethal after they shouted and shouted and shouted and shouted. They're testing this idea. Antifa was testing the resolve, the reaction, what would really happen if, right? Now this is a theory. I don't have any real well-founded evidence that that's exactly what happened, but my experience tells me, and visually seeing this tells me, they've sent this guy out to test the security of this facility to see what they're going to do. These rammings hitting the Border Patrol vehicles, I don't think these are actual attacks. These are leading up to the actual attacks. And this is just me wargaming things in my mind, right, from my experience in the past. I think it's going to get worse. And in another one of my videos, I talked about the border becoming more and more dangerous. I was wrong. It moved from the border inland. The border is still dangerous, okay? That situation's changed. Nothing's coming and going unless we allow it, right? Which is what borders are for. But within the country, we have a mess to clean up. And that mess is getting cleaned up, and then we have opposition within our government that doesn't want it to happen. We have opposition within our population that doesn't want it to happen. And they are sympathetic to a global kind of a governance. So in listening to the rhetoric of the people that are being interviewed, they talk about whose streets are streets, whose streets are streets. Loud enough, long enough, and often enough, right? They're chanting to the people who do their dirty work. Nick Shirley approached a guy in the dark, and the guy knew who he was. Hey Nick, not threatening you, but man, you better be careful. Or however he worded it. Basically, it was a veiled threat. You're on a hit. And then this poster come out with Nick Shirley's name on it, right? And they've been threatening Nick for some time. And like Andy No, anybody who gets out there and actually is effective as a journalist, right? The First Amendment is working, folks. Not like a Joe Biden thing. It is. Bidenomics wasn't working. It didn't work. But he said it was, right? So a psychological operation on you. Loud enough, long enough, and often enough. Bidenomics is working. It's working. Just keep saying the same thing. Whose streets are streets, whose streets are over and over and over and over again, right? What else do they say? They all have the same exact signage on their little pickets, right? But they never made them. They went and they got them. They were handed out. They didn't make these things. Back in the 50s and 60s, during the Vietnam War, yeah, I'm sure there was some commercial signs made, but not very many. They hand-painted them. That was their personal work. These are handouts. These are puppets. These are guys getting paid and whatnot, right? We know they're paid activists. Their heart and soul is in it. But what is it? It's the destruction of the constitutional republic. That's their goal. And who are they? They're socialists, Marxists, globalists, okay? The one thing they are not, and they hate, is capitalists. So being an ists isn't always bad if you're a capitalist. The rest of the ists are at war with us. They've declared war on us. And that's the other trick. They don't declare war on you. They just attack you. That way they can say, we're not at war. You see the little twist of words there. They attack you. They use military-style tactics against you, like ramming the gates and going after people. test and a response. That's something insurgencies do. So is America under an insurgency? I dare say we are. So we have an insurgency within the borders of the United States. It's moved from the borders inland, okay? And now it's spreading global. So this is, if you look at geopolitics, the geopolitics is within the borders of the United States. We have active cells working against our way of life, and we should be ready. You know, what is ready? Does that mean packing a gun everywhere you go? Not necessarily, okay? Don't make yourself a target. Stay away from the big protests. Do not engage with these people. On that note, that's another tactic I've seen with Nick Shirley. When he go to interview people, he's got his camera, right? We're pretending this is a camera. And what this lens sees, let's say it sees me, right? If Nick Shirley is shooting me, or any reporter, or investigative journalist, or anybody like that is filming me, I can see behind you, and I got somebody in a yellow vest with high visibility on, either carrying a sign saying, it's an arrow that says, I'm trying to think of it, right-wing troll or something like that. So they identify you in the crowd. That person's paid, right? But that same exact person who carries the right-wing troll above your head pointing you out will stand behind the person you're trying to interview, or behind you while you're trying to interview them, right? So if I'm the interviewee, we'll say this wall, right? That doesn't work. I'm messing this all up. Behind the camera, behind the cameraman, the Nick Shirleys or the JLRs or whoever, I can see them, but the cameraman cannot. They're giving these kind of hand and arm signals. They're giving these kind of they have hand and arm signals. They have a command and signal structure to this. So this idea is actually an organization with a command and control element to it. Okay, I'm seeing this play out. There was one other thing. There was at the end of Nick Shirley's secondary Canal Street walk, when they threatened him, he got pepper sprayed. There was another incident that was very key. Okay, there was I don't know. The guy didn't speak English. I don't know what language or where he is from. I have no idea, right? And I'm not walking on eggshells. I just don't know. But what I do know is there was some people on the sidewalk. Supposedly they're on our side, but they're like agitators. So that'll work two different ways too. But I'm not going to go into the details on that one. The individual got mad. He felt threatened. Not so threatened. He was bold because he knew he had the ability to fight back. And what he did is he ran in the building. He grabbed his machete. And then he was like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Which told me where they're getting these weapons at. So although they're walking down the street unarmed, they can be armed in a second. A mob could have machetes and attack a person because they have these weapons pre-staged throughout their route and throughout the city. They have, I'm going to call them cache points, where they have weapons and equipment stashed throughout each city, Portland, Chicago, what you name it, okay? To where they can be armed in a second, where if they get searched, they don't have a weapon. Cop turns their back, they got a weapon because they can be armed to go get it or be given to them, okay? And that was just evidence to me that that's where it was. Why would the guy have a machete hidden right by the front door of a place where there's a planned protest by the same people who are doing the protest to attack people they don't like? Or if something gets out of control, they can go grab a weapon, be armed, and chop you into little pieces, okay? Let's see, what else happened? You got pepper sprayed at the end. Nick Shirley, dude, you're doing a great job, but you're doing a lot of things wrong, okay? Stop with the chasing down people. Don't do that. He pepper sprayed you. He was well within his rights because you aggressively went after him, okay? And that's going to end badly for you one day. It's pepper spray this time. It might be bullets next time. And if they're hunting you, don't give them an easy target, okay? Anyway, that's it. I think that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, share. No one will because you haven't. I have relocated somewhere else. I am no longer in the Utah area, but I do keep an eye on Utah politics. Engage with me. Help me out here. I'd like to do more. I can't do more if no one's playing along. I can't guarantee I'm not shadow banned, but I try to get my name out there. Americana Press, out.